hope all these points that I've shared today are going to be very useful to you. In fact, I don't hope, I know they're going to be useful to you, because these are points and things that I use every day in my life when I'm trying to grow my other businesses as well. Welcome to another episode of Mbali Talks with me, Mbali, your platform for all things business, fashion, and lifestyle. In today's video, I'd just like to do a follow-up on the video that we did last week, which was in relation with how you can actually blow up your business on Instagram. And that is to give you tips on how you can actually batch record your content so that you don't feel overwhelmed about always needing content to post, right? If you've just landed on our channel, you just found one of the best channels on YouTube right now, so please don't leave without hitting that subscribe button, honey, so that you can join our community. And if you've been with us since day one, thank you so very much that you're back, guys. I see all the DMs and the posts as well as the comments that I get on the content. And like I promised one of the subscribers recently, I promise never to stop making content like this. One of the biggest tips that I gave away in the last video that we did concerning Instagram is that you need to keep posting consistently as much as possible, especially as a small business. And I know sometimes trying to create content for your business can be so overwhelming, because it honestly just feels like you wake up every day to try and work for Instagram. And I honestly don't want you to be going through that or feeling overwhelmed to a point where you actually end up giving up on your small business, or feeling like, oh my goodness, running a business is so much work, which is why a lot of startups usually fail between 1 or 2 years of their business operation. The points that we're going to be sharing today are things that I practically use every day when I create content for Fashion Dash, as well as Crown Necessity, as well as my own personal branding page, because those are the pages that I run on a daily basis. And these are just things that I've seen kind of help me to streamline all my content all the time and always keep these pages looking like they're always busy, and therefore creating and drawing more engagement onto the page, thus creating more followers and therefore turning those followers into sales. So let's get right into it. You guys should stick to the end of the video. There's so much content that is going to be shared on this video, and trust me, you don't want to miss anything. However, in the description box, I've kind of tried to make it easier for you by including the time that each point is at, so that you can see the different points and decide which one you feel like is more important to you, or is actually a point that you'd like to get to know more of, right? My first tip to how you can actually batch produce your content for Instagram is to plan your content ahead of time. This basically means you need to take time out of your schedule, maybe even after work if you're still running your business while having a 9-to-5 job. Take time after work, sit down and look at your page and decide what things do you want to show to your clients going forward. Be it a new product that you want to introduce, be it how to use the product that you've already introduced, etc, etc. What this will do is to allow you time to be able to think of the kind of captions that you want to use on your pictures, or maybe even the kind of prices that you want to align on the product without being rushed into it. And also it gives an opportunity to do a bit of research on your content, so that by the time you post you have like a catchy phrase or a relevant caption that will allow you to be able to create the kind of content that you want for your page. But if you sit there and then all of a sudden you want to wake up in the morning and suddenly create a post for your video, or suddenly create a post for your page, you are more likely to miss a lot of these points, like the right hashtags to use, the right caption to use, what price point you should be using on your products, you know. So I would definitely take time out of my schedule as a small business owner to plan my content ahead of time. If it's something that you want to post, say maybe next week Monday, plan for it on Wednesday the week before, and then keep it. I mean, Instagram has to do a lot with pictures, so you want to be able to have time to even edit those pictures, to explore what kind of apps you can use to put text on the images, if it's Canva, if it's Pix app, etc. You just want to give yourself time to look like your posts are prepared and coordinated. You know what I mean? Part of planning your content actually leads to the second point that I'm going to share with you, which is to choose a different day to record your content. So now you've taken time to plan the kind of content that you want to do, you've written down your notes, you know, and I know this can sound like it's a lot of work, but the day you're able to start it is actually the day you're going to realize how easy it is to always look like a brand that is consistently having content to post, you know. So like I said, you've decided what kind of content you want to post on your page or on your social media. Now you need to plan ahead to take that content. For example, there's a video where I mentioned the types of things that you can use on your video when you're trying to create good content, like a light box. So now you're choosing a day when you're actually going to be sitting with your camera and your light box and have your product in the middle of the light box, so that you can take the content that you need. And I know that it can almost seem like point 1 and point 2 are the same. However, taking time to plan the kind of content that you want, being able to look at other pages, which is point number 1, being able to look at other pages that are relevant to your business to see the kind of things that you're doing can take up time on its own. And you don't want to find yourself so overwhelmed to a point where even the content that you end up creating ends up being a bit lazy because you decided to do it on the day that you were also planning the kind of content, if you know what I mean. So with FTC, what I normally do is to pick like maybe 2 weeks in advance. So what this means is that even the samples that have to do with the next range that we want to launch needs to be made at least 3 or 4 weeks before, so that it can allow me the time to be able to edit those samples until they get to a point where they are something sellable or something that I like. And then I'm going to plan the content as to which kind of pictures or which kind of venue do I want to use, what kind of background do I want to use. And once I've decided that, I then pick a day, 2 weeks or maybe a week and a half before when I actually have to post, to go out and go and take those pictures. It just creates sort of like a working system for you that doesn't feel so overwhelming as a small business and doesn't make you feel like I said, you're always waking up every day to go and work for Instagram. And yet at the same time, like it or not, these are the things that you need to do in order for you to be able to create the kind of content that is relevant not only on Instagram but also on Facebook, looks good on WhatsApp, and especially looks good on your online shop if you're the business that already has gotten to that point, you know. My third tip to help you create batch content for your social media pages is to choose a different day to edit. So number 1, you've already planned what kind of content you want going on your social media pages. You've decided where you're going to be taking your hashtags or what kind of content you're going to be creating. Secondly, you've chosen a day that you're going to be able to do that content. So therefore now you've probably given yourself time to go out there and actually go and shoot for that content. Or like I said, if you're using a light box, you've already taken time to take the pictures for yourself. They are on your phone, but they are still raw images. My advice for you is on the day when you're actually recording or when you're actually taking pictures of your content, try to avoid being the same day that you're actually editing. It will just feel very overwhelming, you know. I'll give you a typical example. The day that I record my videos is not the day that I edit them most of the time. If I record 3 videos and I still feel like I have a bit of time, I'll probably only edit 1, because editing on its own can take up to 2 to 3 hours before the actual final edit that Bianca gets to do, you know. And I wouldn't want a situation where now I'm thinking, let me batch edit everything now. You would find there's so many things that I would miss, and therefore the kind of quality of the videos would also be a bit sketchy. So as a small business owner, because again you want to try and create a work-life balance between your work and your small business, or your life and the business that you've just started, is to give yourself time. Also, taking time to be able to edit your pictures means you're going to research the kind of apps that you're supposed to use for your pictures. You're going to play around with the lighting. You're going to decide whether adding a sticker onto your page makes sense or adding text onto your content makes sense, you know, those types of things. It also allows you the opportunity to be able to even create how-to videos based on the content that you'd have already recorded, you know, because again, when you're deciding on the recording date or when you're doing the recording itself, you want to create content that is not only imagery but also videos, because you, like I said in the other video, you want to have content that you can post even on your stories as small behind the scenes situations of what actually happens when you're producing the content for your pages. So my advice is to choose a different day for you to be able to edit, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and feel under pressure all the time, and then obviously end up feeling overworked and then wanting to give up on your small business. My 4th tip on how you can actually batch or create content for your social media pages is to always remember to choose quality over quantity. So I know, like I said in the previous point, say maybe you've taken the pictures, you've planned your day, you have chosen the kind of apps that you want to edit your pictures with, but when you look at the pictures you realize they are not really the standard that you want to be putting online, you know. And this happens to me sometimes even with my YouTube videos, where I have recorded a video and when I'm looking at it, it's either the focus is off, like my camera's busy doing, you know, tricks on me, and I realize even though I spend so much time trying to record this content, it's not the kind of content that I want to be putting out there for 2 main reasons. First of all, it's not the content that I want attached to my brand as a profile, you know, because I'm just feeling like there's a certain standard that I'm trying to create for my brand, you know. Secondly, you're going to lose customers if the content that you put out quickly shows that there isn't a lot of effort that went into it. Again, like I said, social media pages are a lot about imagery. Whether it's a video, whether it's a picture, it just needs to try and live up to a certain social media standard so that it can attract the kind of traffic that you want for your business. Especially if you have things like an online shop or a website, nobody's going to go and click on that link for your website if the pictures that are on your WhatsApp or the pictures that are on your Instagram or even on your Facebook are shady, guys. You would rather go through the inconvenience of reshooting that content than you trying to sell it off to clients just because you've suddenly taken it and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't reshoot again. Trust me, taking time for you to be able to create the kind of content that you want to have attached to your brand is going to work wonders for you in the long run. The kind of clients that you're going to capture are actually people that are not just there to like or share or comment, but they are people that are going to turn into customers because they are taking you serious as a small business. They can see that you as a small business are actually taking time to take them serious, and therefore you're only going to attract serious customers. I mean, seriously, on our pages, like I mentioned before, on Instagram alone, we have about 4.9, 4.6, I think, followers. The last thing I need is for me to put out shady pictures and disappoint 4,000 people. Not only that, even though I know that we don't have 100,000 people following us, I would rather still have a small number that actually converts into sales because of the kind of quality that we're putting out than to have 100,000 people or 100,000 bots that are following us just to try and create a page that has a high number of followers. Quality will always trump quantity, guys, no matter where you go. I mean, big companies that have these budgets for marketing end up sometimes spending months trying to create the right kind of advertising campaign for just one product that they're trying to launch into the market. These are people that are already big in the industry or in the market that they're selling in, but they still understand the idea of quality over quantity. And this is definitely something that as a small business owner, you really need to invest in, because otherwise you're just going to be posting and feeling like, why is my business not growing? Why am I not attracting sales? Why am I not attracting customers that actually convert into sales? It's because your pictures are shady. So quality over quantity all the time. My fifth and final tip on how you can actually create batch content for your pages is for you to take time to research. So nobody wants to come onto a business or come onto a website and see things like grammatical errors or see things that actually don't make sense when it relates to a product, or just a lot of captioning that really isn't giving valuable information. And that does happen sometimes as a small business because you're feeling like you're under the pressure of always needing to consistently show up online and consistently post. But what you're missing is your content valuable? Is your content informative? Have you taken time to maybe research on the type of caption that is in relation with the kind of product that you want to produce, Have you taken time to research the kind of hashtags that you're supposed to be using on that content online? And this is actually in relation to a post that I saw recently about someone who was listing down the mistakes that small businesses make when they're doing marketing for their products. It's the fact that you automatically kind of feel like what you're going to post on Instagram is also something that is going to create traffic on Facebook, and also something that is going to help you create traffic on WhatsApp, or even on your online shop or on your website. What you need to know is that not all that content can be exactly the same over all these platforms. The kind of caption that you use on Instagram is probably more likely vibey, and you can use things like link in the bio. But when you get to Facebook, you're going to realize that there's no link in bio. And even though you can attach your online shop link to your Facebook account, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going onto the button to go and press. So you want to create a situation where each time you have a post on Facebook, you've already attached the link onto the actual caption itself, because that's how Facebook people work. It's different to Instagram people. And then come back to WhatsApp. The caption that you're going to use on WhatsApp cannot possibly be as long as the one that you're going to use on either Instagram and or on Facebook. It just doesn't make sense, because the pictures on WhatsApp, they move like this, almost like stories. So you want to literally probably put 10 words at most or 5 words at most just to get someone to look at the post that you've actually just made on your status, But you will not know these things as a small business if you are not taking time to research. You will not realize all these points that you're supposed to actually apply onto your content if you don't take time to research. One of the things that I've seen research do for me, is to kind of open up my mind to other things that I had actually not considered when I was creating the content, I'll give an example. I do these videos every other week. Of course, these videos are based on a lot on the experience that I've had also as a business for the past 6 years, but they're also based on research, because I want to give you valuable content. I want to give you relevant content that when you take away and go and apply today and not 6 years ago, it actually still works. It actually still helps you grow your small business. So research is very, very important, guys. Do not take it for granted as a small business. With that said, we've come to the end of this video. I hope these points have been very helpful for you as a small business to not feel overwhelmed about creating content on your social media pages. Not only that, I just hope that it gives you hope as a small business to say, if somebody like me has been in business for so long, then obviously you starting your business today and taking it 1 year and the second year and the third year is not a bad idea. It's okay to start where you are. It's okay to start small with what you have. And luckily for you, you have a channel like this that can actually help you to accelerate the performance of your small business. And these are things that I didn't know when I was starting out my business. If I had, I know that I'd have probably achieved the things that I've achieved over 6 years, probably in a space of 3 years. years. So this is definitely content that I would be taking with me going forward as a startup and or as a small business entrepreneur. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for sticking by. I hope all these points that I've shared today are going to be very useful to you. In fact, I don't hope, I know they're going to be useful to you, because these are points and things that I use every day in my life when I'm trying to grow my other businesses as well. Please remember not to leave without hitting that subscribe button below so that you can join our community, and also please turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on anything that happens on this channel here, honey. Not only that, remember to leave me a like and a comment below so that I know which part of this video spoke to you the most, and or what other content you'd like to see on this channel going forward. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to see you on the next video. Cheers.